Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today we are talking about the children of darkness. The children of darkness. Nowadays, we have quite a few names for people who simply are not of light in no way, shape, or form, even though they will say that they are of light and love and happiness and peace and joy and humility and virtue and, all of these so called wonderful things they supposedly embody. Okay? But when you spend time with them long enough, you find out that they are like professional actors and actresses. They are playing a role in their organization, in the fraternal group, in the subgroup, in the religion that they support. It is a role. And every day they wake up and they pretend to be something that they can at times not keep up with. Okay? They may look the part, dress the part, have the furniture arranged accordingly, collect the necessary tools to invoke certain spirits. They may even be the type that may not be a part of any particular group. They just have their so-called personal precepts, ethics, morals, some of which they took off of those who came before them, who passed on the influences of their personal faith, religion, precepts, concepts, okay? So now they're walking in the shadow of mama's God. They're walking in the shadow of daddy's support group, whatever that might be, or whoever that might be. So the spirits have this way of recreating themselves to be whatever they think you want them to be. We're not talking about the Holy Spirit, the one that Jesus left behind when he ascended unto heaven, which you can read more about in the book of Acts. No, we are talking about spirits, many, many spirits that are satanic. At the end of the day, this is what they are. They are evil. They are dark. They are designed to put you in some type of bondage. I asked one particular individual, the male fraternal group that he once had belonged to, and he just so happened to be a family member. I did not know, after speaking to him many, many times, that he had been affiliated with this particular fraternal group. And I asked him, well, how come you're not still a part of it? He said, because all they wanted was my money. The opportunity, the success, the favor, and whatever else that they had promised, that wasn't happening. They wanted their dues to fund their agendas. Okay? And he got tired of paying the dues. What am I getting out of this? You see, was he being filled mentally, spiritually, even financially? Am I getting a ROI from this? No, nothing. Am I buying my way up to the top level so that I can get some type of secret knowledge? No. As much as I study on this level, am I going to be able to receive certain truths that's going to help me in some kind of way? No. There was a financial bondage that was put upon him in serving the group. Another individual, they told me that after he passed away, that he too was a part of a fraternal group. And this fraternal group had all sorts of fellow brothers. Whether he benefited from the group or not, well, that's just as secret as the group that he belonged to. Okay? The Lord himself has spoke to me many years ago about the family members who had gone before me being a part of various organizations and how some of them did benefit, which made sense as to why they received all of what they received while other family members received nothing. Nothing that could build up their wealth, build up their name, leave some type of legacy behind. So it wasn't just about going to school, and it wasn't just about getting a good job. There was more than meets the eye. Okay? Now, I get into this because, see, these were individuals that, hey, I thought you was a believer. I thought you were of light. I mean, you did demonstrate the type of characteristics that show that you were of light. Yes, because that is what Satan does with some people. I mean, he's not going to encourage them to be all ugly and bad and evil and dark, right? I mean, once again, you've got to attract a bee with honey. So there has to be some character traits that exemplify the one true God, even though that one is not following the one true God, but most likely believes he or she is following his or herself. But we know that's a lie. That's a lie. It looks like you're following yourself. It looks like you are your own God. But Satan, he believed himself to be his own God too. He was supposed to be following the one true God who created him. And instead, the only thing that he followed was a path, and continues to follow, is a path straight to his destruction. And he wants some people to follow his lead. If I'm going down, everybody else is going down too. If I'm not allowed to be my own God, I'm not allowed to do this, that, and the other. And I'm being punished for it. Well, everybody else is going to be punished too. Okay? Once again, the Lord, he cautions us on who we are following, who we are keeping company with, who we are talking to on the phone, who we are working with, who we are married to, who we are raising or parenting. What are you saying? What are you doing? Whose principles, ethics, morals are you following after? And when he shines the light on the false light, come on, when he shines the light on the lies, on the false leadership, on those who are promoting a I am God philosophy, we are not to look the other way and pretend as if we don't see anything and put a mask on our faces and just keep on partying and living an indulgent lifestyle. No, we are supposed to be taking heed to the God of all gods, the creator of ourselves, right? And doing the types of things that are obedient, living a holy lifestyle. What does that entail? That entails the reading of a very wise book that has been around long before we got here. What does that entail? It requires us to spend quiet time with the one true God, seeking after him, not seeking after the spirits of yesteryear, the ancestors, seeking after the spirits of the ungodly, the unrighteous, the demonic that shows up in visions that at times looks like lovely, light, beautiful people or angelic beings, only to shapeshift into something dark and disturbing and evil. But we got people who will do this sort of thing, willing to do this because of the promise of money and power and fame. And let me read this prayer and let me follow these steps and let me do all of these things that's going to get me some type of dark anointing. The children of darkness do this. They study and show themselves approved unto Satan, not unto God. Satan / narcissist, Satan / self. Satan / those Greek names from way back when. Satan / all of those other demonic gods that are worshipped in the Bible. Those that require a blood sacrifice. Those that require you being a slave working 24 hours on the hour in so many different ways for them, putting you in some type of emotional, physical, spiritual, financial, or sexual bondage. Children of darkness, they know what they're into. And oftentimes, after they've received as much as they're going to get, now they want out. Example, the relative who realized, I'm not getting anything out of this. All they're doing is getting my money. You see. And some will stay in light and in darkness until their dying day, like one particular relative. You do know that you're following two sides of the fence. Even some individuals said that she was phony. She was a hypocrite. She would be over there at the church, decked out in all of her jewelry and her fine clothes, and then come home, take off the jewelry and the fine clothes, and be going off and telling people whatever she wanted to tell them, as opposed to the truth, was good for being a liar, and didn't see nothing wrong with her exaggerations and lies, even when she was called out on it. Okay? But in the public, she was a beautiful Christian, had a heart of gold. As long as there was some benefit, yes. If there was no benefit, her heart was like steel. Okay? Oh, people over time, they started coming out and talking about various people and what they were really about. And for some people, they didn't want to accept that truth. And matter of fact, you better bury that truth and don't you ever tell our family's business. But you see, when God puts a calling on our lives, it doesn't matter the titles. It doesn't matter the affiliations, the connections, the oaths. It doesn't matter. Any of those things just simply don't matter. The truth is always more important than the lie. Matter of fact, we use the truth to snuff out the lies, while Satan puts his people up to snuffing out bodies, killing, taking out people. How does one know, once again, that he or she is in the presence of a child of darkness? Listen to this, and then I'm going to tell you. It might even shake some of you all up where I got this information. Children of darkness, some of the conversations that they have. Oh, I know from personal experience even too. I've studied around individuals who have been some children of darkness, even though they would never tell you that. The things that they're into, their conversation, you're going to hear that they believe in indulgence. No, they're not going to encourage you to abstain from anything, especially ungodly types of activities. They believe in eating much, drinking much, and being quite merry. Okay? These individuals will say things like, oh yes, of course, I'm a great person, a nice person. I'll be kind. I'll be humble. I'll be all of those things to those individuals who deserve it. Uh-oh, did you catch that? You followed that person in all of the wonderful character traits that sound pretty much like some virtuous traits that are in the Bible, right? Until they said, to those who deserve it. Okay? And then you challenge the individual. Remember, we're talking about children of darkness, okay? Their character traits, the things that reveal that they are children of darkness. And then they'll say something along the lines of, well, the reason why I say that is because, well, why would I want to waste all of these wonderful things that I embody on those who are ungrateful? Uh-oh. But what would make them ungrateful? I mean, well, if they don't appreciate what I do, of course. I mean, I'm spending time with them. I'm giving them whatever I choose to give them. And I mean, I'm going to be sweet. I'm going to be kind to them, but only if I feel that they deserve it. Ooh. Okay. And I'm telling you, some of this is revealed during the dating phase with some of you all who are single, who are listening to Children of Darkness. Very eloquent, very nice looking. Okay. May have passed your 10-point checklist and then some, but something's funky with them, and I can't quite figure it out. Where there's light, there's darkness. That's what's wrong with them. Where there's a yin, there's a yang. Where there's a right-hand path, there's also a left-hand path with these people. They are black and they are white. Uh-oh. In the conversation or in the way they carry themselves, they are very much the type that believe in vengeance, but not coming from the one true God. Oh no, because some of you all, you've heard some of my messages and you know, yes, I believe in God avenging, not me going out here doing all sorts of crazy stuff. But these individuals, they believe in vengeance in a way where they don't mind helping create an atmosphere, if you will, where someone is accident prone. Uh-oh. They don't mind aiding a weak individual, a frail individual, with the very vice that they're trying to be free from. So these are the ones that will bring over the alcohol when you're trying to stop drinking. These are the ones who will bring over the drugs when you're trying to be clean. These are the individuals who, the reason why they're doing this is because they were offended by something you said or you did. And so now the act of vengeance comes out. And they've got to be very slick, very clever in what they do so that they don't end up with a murder charge. Okay? You see it clear if you follow your favorite entertainer and you start doing some research on how he or she passed away. They didn't follow the creed, the code, the ethics. They didn't follow what they promised, the oath that they took. And they claim to be free. Please, they're in a box. They're in a cage. They're like an animal. They're imprisoned. They're behind bars. How can you claim freedom behind bars? How can you claim freedom behind a disturbing oath that you took? Uh-oh, I'm stepping on some people's toes. Children of darkness now, once again, we're recognizing their conversation, the way they go about doing some things. So, a quick refresher before I continue. They believe in indulging themselves and they don't believe in abstaining. So if I want to abstain from sex, let's say, while I'm dating an individual, they're like, why? Let's live the moment up. But I barely know you. Have you ever taken risks? Okay? A risk that might end up leaving you with an incurable disease. Live a little. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. But what about my diet? Diet schmiet. Just keep eating. You only live once. Keep drinking. Have you ever tried this? Have you ever taken this? Have you ever done this? Live. You never know what a day might bring. Just have fun. You can be whatever you want to be. You can get whatever you want to get. Children of darkness now. Recap once again. Oh, it's all about being kind, right? And humble and sweet and merry and respectful and trustworthy and all of that good stuff, right? But they're only going to show that side to those who they think deserve it. But anybody else who, you haven't treated me a certain way, and I don't really like your type, or you're being preachy, or you're putting me in a place where I'm not able to do what I like. Well, I'm just not going to give any of those good things, even love, to those ungrateful people, those ingrates. Okay? And recapping once again, vengeance. No, there is no turning the other cheek with these people. I'm not trying to turn the other cheek, they say. No, we're going to go in and we're going to take care of the problem. We're going to take care of the one who offended us, or offended whatever we stand by. Okay? So, continuing on. The children of darkness, they have more of a respect for animals than they do people. Okay? Certain animals. Animals that they consider their favorites. Animals that they use to do some very despicable acts that I cannot get into. And bestiality being one of them. I used to hear people in the hood talk about those people. I won't be specific as to the particular ethnicity, but I will hear people in the hood say some things about those people are nasty. They do some nasty things. Why would people from the hood back in the day know so much about some folk? Because they went to parties. Some of them worked at the parties. So they learned a whole lot. And that's why it wasn't just about prejudice, some of you all. When your elders were cautioning you about various ethnicities, it's because they saw a lot. And no, we don't lump everybody in one category, but they were cautioning you because they loved you so much and they didn't want you to be caught up in the demonic. They knew that something was dark and something was evil about what was going on at the parties. Some of these elders who cleaned their houses, who cooked for them, some of them who set up the parties, some of them who went so far as to watch children, and even ancestors who breastfed their babies, they knew what was going on. There's a history of demonic activity that our ancestors saw, and they didn't want the next generation or many generations after to be a part of. But when you lose your way spiritually, you're down for whatever. And that's why we see many of these people in the entertainment industry who are the type who may have come from spiritual families are not spiritual when it comes to the one true God and following him. Holy Spirit filled. These are the demonic, the children of darkness. Okay? So going back to the animals and the things that some of these people do with the animals, they tend to esteem them more than the people. They consider humans to be very evil. Interesting how the kettle talks about the pot. Children of darkness talking about children of darkness being evil and children of light being evil and ugly and vicious, and man and what he's done to the land, and man, what he's done to this and that. And they've got their list, okay? But the animal is, once again, considered more important than humans. And of course, finally, pay attention, children of darkness, they don't believe at times that Satan exists, that there's any dark energies or forces at times. Some, depending on who you speak to. I don't believe. I don't know. That seems far-fetched. That seems crazy. And then you got others who, yeah, Satan exists, but he's not a part of my life. But he is. He's very much a part of your life. And so, all of the sinning that the Christian talks about, the children of light talks about, not to participate in immoral activities and to be righteous and live a holy life. They frown on that. They believe that that so-called sin or sins, No, if anything, all of those things that you tell me not to do, those are the things they want, mind you, they believe that will lead them to some type of physical uplift, emotional well-being, some form of mental gratification. The very things that we caution, that we warn about, that our God downloads in our spirit, they think the total opposite. Don't steal. I think I should steal if it suits the purpose, if it is of benefit to me. Don't lie. Well, there's various situations that do call for lying. Don't covet thy neighbor's wife. Oh, but you know what? If the neighbor's wife is lonely and she happens to be in my vicinity, I might have to comfort her. You see, everything that the Bible preaches and teaches and cautions man and woman on, as well as child too, they go the total opposite. Children of darkness. Now, some of you would never consider yourself to be a Satanist, but what I just read to you is straight out of what the Satanists believe, whether they're overt or covert with their satanic worship. What I'm proposing or accusing or even suggesting is that many believers, so-called believers, have the same concepts. And that's what makes them hypocrites. That is why some individuals, as much as they told me that they believe in God like I do, and that they pray like I do, and that they read the Bible like I do, okay, up until we get into these topics. No, they are not like me. No, they are not like the Jesus that I serve or his Father that I believe in and that I agree with what he moved on men to write about. Listen, as much as we want to believe that everybody who says, Lord, Lord, and everybody who says that they're of light and love and peace and joy and all those things, there's another side to them. There are many, many priests that wanted to attain a certain level of power. So in order to do that, they believed that, and many still do this even now, they believe that they are to follow both darkness and light. That they are to believe that they are to be on both the good side and the evil side. And that they are to glean from both, benefit from both, sacrifice for both. See the confliction? God says we're not to have any gods before him. He's a jealous God. And this is why these priests end up going through as much as they go through, because once again, you can't be on two sides of the fence, whether you wear a collar or don't wear a collar. He wants to be a minister, but he also wants to be a mason. Uh-oh. And we're not supposed to tell what we do. But you tell when you had the conversations that you had that sound just like what I mentioned. And I was around these people, okay? One knew what he was. He was a warlock. He knew what he was. But he didn't want to say that to me because he didn't want to scare me off because I was of benefit to him. When I stopped being of benefit to him, and even when I really didn't stop being of benefit to him, he always had some people in the background that he esteemed and liked very much, and those that he sought sex from. So when I stopped with giving him and doing for him, then it was time to discard, you see. and brownie points if you can sacrifice a believer. And that is what some of them do. Not necessarily on the altar, because there are those hardcore Satanists, if you will, that would do that sort of thing. But there are those who don't mind destroying a Christian, a believer, one who is sincerely a child of light. Children of darkness know who are the sincere from the insincere. And so they usually gravitate to the sincere, and then over time drain the sincere believer who may have quite a few weaknesses that still need to be dealt with. They will drain him or her. The vampire type of child of darkness is going to suck the life out of you, suck your bank account, suck your emotions. By the time you're done with him or her, you are exhausted. You are broken down mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, sexually, and now you've got to build yourself back up again. Okay? When you have experienced all those things, once again, you have experienced being in the presence of a child of darkness. Okay? Once again, I've been around them. That's why I can speak like I speak. And that's why some folks can listen to me, because they know, the children of darkness know who I am. And they tried their share of curses and so forth, and they've been reversed. That's why I say give it up. Just stop with it and just listen and be about truth and walk according to the will of God, rather than trying to attack me because you don't like what I said and because, once again, I've offended you. Okay? That's the way I look at it. We could either be friends or foes. If we want to go there, then it's going to be spiritual warfare. And guaranteed, whether I remain in the flesh, walking this earth or not, our people, God's people, the Holy Spirit that he's put within us is going to keep winning. That's why it's just best not to wage war. Just, can we have a meeting of the minds on some areas? Can you get what you can get from the message and keep it moving, rather than wage war spiritually on me? You see what I mean? But there are those individuals who do this sort of thing because Satan tells them in so many different ways that, oh, there's brownie points for you if you do this, or if you say this, or if you put out a curse or what have you. What you also need to know is that just like there's the vampires who suck the very life out of their victims, these children of darkness who would never claim to be a child of darkness, but I'm like you. Yeah, right. There's the werewolves, if you will. These are the ones who are the destroyers. They're destructive in what they do. They'll get their share of benefit from you as well. But by the time they're finished with you, they done destroyed you, ripped you up, savages, beast-like. They come out to avenge their father of lies, just as the vampire, you see, does. They think that the voice that they're hearing in their head is, oh, that's me. And a lot of these people who are children of darkness also have dissociative disorders. Okay, they have dissociative disorder. They have various personalities. I got into this with my audio about spiritual schizophrenia, because when the personality shows up, there's the spirits that are operating in and around them. Of course, those who are not into spirituality are not going to attribute spirits with a disorder, but that's what is working in and around them. The voices in my head, the personality that shows up and it shape shifts even. We've seen this, right? They'll claim that they've got the voice or they've heard this and that. When they lower their inhibitions through drugs, alcohol, and what have you, they will talk the type of talk that you'll say, yeah, he's crazy, she's crazy. You'll use that word because you don't know what's in front of you. Okay? Dismissive, right? Crazy's dismissive. But when we go deep with it, we see that the child of darkness has various personalities, and the personalities are good and evil. You want to zero in on the good, and hopefully the good will override the evil, and you'll have yourself a true child of light at some point, and all the other demonic spirits or what have you will fall off and fall away. But a lot of times the mind has been splintered so much to the point where there is no coming back. Okay? There is no coming back because God has allowed, come on, God has allowed the reprobate mind to be there. So we could pray until we're blue in the face. We could be pleading the blood of Jesus. We could be casting out demons. We could go and have a full-blown exorcism. And for some people, it's not going to work because God got their hand on them in a way where it's only Him, when this earth suit is no more, is going to be able to do something with that person, whatever that might be. Okay? There's heaven and there's hell. And we don't know if certain cores within the individual, the core, I should say, if the core has been reached and the personality disorders have fallen away. We don't know that at times with individuals who are on their deathbeds. So somebody could say, oh, so-and-so got saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled, even though they had all of these philosophies that were dark and evil and satanic. But because we do know that the satanic, the demonic performs trickery, magic, if you will. And what you see before you may look like an angel and may be a child of light. And then if God gives you a vision, you'll see darkness that shows up. Demonic activity, evil, shape-shifting, things of that sort. Okay? I know it seems a bit far-fetched and over some people's heads, but I am giving you information so that you can be able to determine if you want to be in a connection, relationship, business, partnership, what have you, with an individual, but you're grappling with what is it about them that is so disturbing, that's off, that I don't get it. I mean, I really like this person, but child of darkness, okay? Child of darkness. Once again, some individuals, of course, would say, no, I'm not a Satanist. Are you crazy? But you got Satanist ways, okay? No, I'm not into anything of darkness. I'm not into occult stuff or magic or anything. But the relatives may have been a part of that. And they gleaned information or studied or was influenced by. And so now they carry on this. The friends that they connected to, the brotherhood, the sisterhood. And so now they have ways like that group. Okay? So this sort of thing happens with people. Be mindful. Not everybody is a believer. Not everybody who says, Lord, Lord, is, of course, the one true God's child of light, right? Rather, they are children of darkness. I thank you, as always, for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube, NM Enterprise 7. May God richly bless you, as well as those that you love. Please do check the description box for anything that might be of interest, and you are welcome to give. And thank you in advance.